Welcome to the Little Beading Closet. I'm Sherry. It's my privilege and pleasure to bring you another beading tutorial. But sadly, over 5,000 miles away from me, a war rages on in the Ukraine. It is on my mind every morning when I wake up and weighs heavy on my heart. As I was looking for a way to help, an opportunity came up to join the Creators for Peace movement. UNICEF, in collaboration with the wonderful people at vidIQ, spent their time and energy putting together a fundraiser for the million-plus children affected by this war. Please support the children of Ukraine. Take a moment to look in the description below my video for a direct link to the fundraiser. The Unity Band ring begins with a solid base of love. This odd count Peyote Heart will be easy to do thanks to the step-by-step instructions in this tutorial. And then just choose your seed beads and bicones or only seed beads to complete the band. For the Peyote Stitch heart, I used size 11 delicas in 2 different colors. I also used size 15 seed beads right here along the edge. For the band, you can make it using round seed beads or any bead of your choice really. These are size 15 seed beads. You could also use size 11 seed beads with a mix of 4mm bicones, really anything that you would like. We're going to begin the center heart for the bottom of our ring using odd count peyote. I have 1 yard of thread on my beading needle. I'm going to pick up a bead to use as a stop bead. This one's different than the other beads in my work. I'm going to bring it down near the end of my thread, and I'll want to leave about 6 inches so I can finish this edge at the end and weave it back in. And then go ahead and needle back through the stop bead. And I'll go ahead and pull that on. I'm going to pick up 5 gold beads, 1 red and 5 gold for a total of 11 and bring them down next to my stop bead. Starting this peyote strip, I'm going to pick up 1 more gold bead, skipping the one on the end and come into the bead above it. Pulling my needle through. Picking up 1 more gold bead. You'll want to skip over the next delicate line and come into the one after it. When you pull it into place here, it will sit beside this one. Now I'm going to pick up 1 red delica, skipping the next one in line, and that will bring me through the red one here. And again, I'll pull it together, and now you'll see the red bead sitting beside the gold bead. Picking up 1 more red delica, skipping the next one, and coming into the one after it. Pulling it together, this red bead will now be sitting beside the gold one. Pick up 1 more gold bead, skipping the next one line, and coming into the one after it. And also pull that one into place. Picking up 1 more gold delica, we now need to put it on by needling into the one here on the end. I'm going to go ahead and pull that down into place. To start our next row of peyote, which will be over here, we just need to do a turnaround with our needle and thread by coming down through this bead here below the 2 on top. Then come down into the one on your right. And now we're going to needle up to the top. So come into the one beside it. through this middle one more time. And needle into the one here on the left, making sure to avoid your stop bead. And coming down into this one here on the end. Now our needle and thread's in position to start the next row. I'm going to pick up one gold delica and come into the next one. Picking up one red delica and come into the next one. Picking up one more red delica and coming into the next one. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the next gold sticking out bead. And then picking up one more gold bead to come into the very last one on this row. Picking up one gold delica, I'm going to come into the first gold delica sticking out here on this row. And you want to make sure it's sitting down here on the end. Picking up one red delica into the next red delica sticking out. Picking up one red delica into the next one. Picking up one red delica, coming into the next red delica sticking out. Go ahead and pick up one red delica and come into the next sticking out gold one. Pulling that into place. We'll go ahead and pick up one more gold delica. And this time we're going to needle down into this one here on the end. And again, we need to get our needle and thread in position to add our next row. I'm going to needle down this delica right here. And I'll come up into the one beside it. Next, needle into this middle delica here. Then we can step into the one here on the end and be ready for the next row. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, and coming into the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, coming into the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, we're going to come into the next sticking out red delica, go ahead and pick up one more red delica and come into the gold one here on the end. Picking up one gold delica, come into the first red one, picking up one more red delica, coming into the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, coming through the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, come into the next sticking out red delica, picking up one more red delica, come into the last red delica sticking out in this row, we'll be picking up one gold delica, coming back into the one here on the end. Now we just need to get our needle and thread in position to start the next row. You'll want to needle down through this red delica here. And then I'm going to needle up into the gold bead just here beside it. Then I'm going to needle up into not the end, but the one before it. And then I'm going to come down into this gold bead here on the very end to start my next row. Picking up one more red delica, we're going to come into the next red delica sticking out on that row. Another red delica into the next red delica sticking out. One more red delica into the next one sticking out. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the last red one sticking out on that row. Pick up one more red delica and come into the gold one on the end. Now we're going to work our way up this row by picking up one gold delica, coming into the first red one sticking out. Picking up one red delica, coming into the next red delica sticking out. Picking up one more red delica, come into the next red delica sticking out. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the next red delica sticking out. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the last red delica sticking out on this row. Go ahead and pick up one gold delica and come down through the bead here on the end. Let's get our needle and thread in position to start the next row. So we're going to come down through this red delica just there. We're going to come up through the bead beside it. Next, we're going to needle up here through this bead, not on the end, but just before it. And then come down into the one here on the end. Now we're in position to start our next row. Picking up one gold delica, come into the first sticking out red delica. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the next sticking out red delica. Pick up one gold delica, come into the next sticking out red delica. Picking up one more red delica, coming into the last sticking out red delica. Picking up one more gold delica and coming into the one here on the end. Starting the next row, picking up one gold delica and coming into this one. Picking up one gold delica, coming into the next sticking out red delica. Picking up one more gold delica, come through this next gold delica sticking out. Picking up one more gold delica, coming into the next sticking out red one, picking up one more gold delica, coming into the next sticking out gold one, picking up one more gold delica, needle down into the one here on the end. Now we just need to get our needle and thread in position to start the next row. So we'll come down through this delica, come up through the one just beside it, and then needle through the gold delica here, and come down into the one here on the end. Now that we have our 11 rows completed, we're going to switch over to size 15 seed beads to add along the edge in this little ditch formed by the peyote. We're just going to pick up one size 15 and come into the next delica, just filling in the little ditch form there. We're going to complete that by coming all the way down through each sticking out delica along this edge. One coming into here, and the very last one coming through this last gold delica bead here. This edge was very simple. Now we just have to do this edge. So go ahead and remove your stop bead and slip a new needle onto the end. Now we're going to need to get our needle in position to add this edge. So go ahead and step back into this delica right here. Come down into this delica right here before the heart. And then come into this delica just here. And then come through this one. Needle into the delica here on the end. And we're ready to add our 15s along this side also. So go ahead and just pick up a 15, coming through each sticking out delica along the edge. And I have my last size 15 coming down here through this delica. I'm ready to end this thread. So I'll come back into my work. Just needle through a few of your delicas until you get back to the heart. Now reverse direction and needle back the other way. This time, reverse direction, going that way. Locking your thread into place by pulling it zigzag through your beads. You won't have to knot anything. So again, I'll go one direction and then turn my needle and come the other direction, pulling that thread path down between the beads and locking my thread into place. By now, I'm confident that this should be all secure. I'll just pull it one more time and trim it off. The only thing left to do is unite both sides of our heart. Here I use size 11 seed beads and 4mm bicone crystals. For the demonstration, I'll be working with size 15 seed beads. Our needle and thread is already in the correct spot to start picking up our size 15 seed beads. Go ahead and string on enough of the size 15 seed beads. I can't give you an exact number of beads to pick up, but just hold the heart on the underside of your finger, wrapping the strand around to see how your fit is. When you're happy with the length that you have, you're going to needle into this side by coming through this first delica here on the end. To get in position to add the next band of seed beads, I'm going to come down 2 more of my delicas. I'll come through this one and the one right here. Now we're just going to have to needle up, so our needle is coming out this delica in line here. So I'll come through the red one and the gold one here on the diagonal, and then needle into the second delica here on the edge. Again, we're going to pick up our seed beads to unify this side of our heart to the other. Again, you'll want to string on enough seed beads that you can wrap it around to form another loop. This time coming into the second delica here along the edge. And then just confirm. Now we're just going to get our thread and needle in position. Now we just need to get our thread and needle in position to be coming out of this delica. I'm going to come down 2 delicas into the heart. Then I'll turn my work. I'm going to step up through this delica beside the one my thread is coming out of, pulling it into the place, coming through another one of my red delicas, and then needle into this delica here, and you'll be in position to add your third band. After attaching 3 of the blue bands, I'm going to switch my color and work with the yellow for the next 3. I strung on enough yellow seed beads for the last loop of my band. Go ahead and come into this last delica here on the end. To secure your thread without any knots, you're going to do it just like you did when you finished your peyote heart. So we'll go ahead and needle through our beads until we come to the heart. Through this gold one, and then come through one of the red ones for your heart. Reversing direction, we'll come up through a bead beside it. Reversing direction again, coming into the bead beside that. And then I'll needle away from myself 1 or 2 more times. And again, reversing my direction, needling into the bead beside the one that our thread is coming out of, pulling it tight. We'll have a nice secure finish. And it'll be time to trim off your thread. Held together with love, the Unity Band beaded rings.